For our first story, we have my 37 male wife, 34 female, wants to back out of the divorce she filed. Not sure what to do. My wife of 12 years decided to divorce me earlier this year. We did marriage counseling and just about everything else you can do to save the marriage. I love my wife, but she apparently fell out of love 3 years ago according to her. We separated in March of this year. The separation was recommended by the marriage counselor after everything else failed. It was supposed to, I guess, show us our marriage from different angle by being separated. I ended up moving out of the house, and quite honestly I was much happier living by myself. I told my wife that I wouldn't file for divorce, and if she wanted to go down that route she can file. In May she finally filed for divorce. Honestly, I completely expected it coming after the separation experiment. I was hoping for a simple divorce like we talked about before we separated. We don't have a prenup in place since we basically both didn't have that much when we got married. They always say it doesn't matter how much you love or have mutual respect for your spouse, because during a divorce there are no limits. She initially wanted the house, her car, full custody of our daughters, $4,000 a month in CS, and a 6-figure alimony. My wife doesn't work since she's a full-time stay-at-home mom. I was never going to leave her without anything, but it sort of hurt me that she would try to get all those things knowing well that I would have barely anything left afterwards. Anyways, the lawyers have been negotiating for some time and I haven't had much contact with my wife unless it's about the girls. Last night my wife called me asking me if I would go to dinner because she wanted to talk. I accepted and we met for dinner at a restaurant. She expressed that she wanted to give our marriage another try. Her reasoning was that she was in a dark place before, and now she understands that she was the problem. She took 100% responsibility for our problems, which is very out of character for her. Ever since I've known her, she doesn't apologize like ever. She also said that our daughters missed us living together, which I guess is true. After dinner she wanted to come back to my place, but I told her it wasn't a good idea. I told her that I would have to think about it. She started crying and begging me to come back. Eventually she calmed down and we went our separate ways. A few months ago I would have agreed to trying again without hesitation, but after the divorce process I'm not so sure anymore. The other thing is I know she's been on dates since our separation. She told one of our mutual friends who told her husband who told me. I personally haven't dated anyone because our divorce hasn't been finalized. Also, I'm enjoying living single with just my daughters. Ideally I would like to save this marriage for the sake of my daughters and the love for my wife, but at the same time I don't want to try again just to waste time ending up in our current situation again. My daughters prefer staying with me over their mom. I've never said anything negative about their mom to my daughters, and I try to leave them out of it completely. If you've had any experiences in trying to make your marriage work again for round 2, was it positive or negative? Is it worth revisiting, or do I just cut my losses and move on? That's the end of our first post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, "It honestly sounds like she wants to get back together because the divorce isn't going her way. She wants all of that crap from you because she wants to remain a stay-at-home mom even after the divorce. I'm betting she's been talking with her lawyer and realizes that she's not going to be able to do that. I'm also betting that she knows that your daughters prefer your custody to hers. All of that adds up to her losing the life she loves. It has nothing to do with you. You can test this by telling her that if the marriage fails again you don't want to go through this again, so as a result you will only get back together if she signs a post-nuptial agreement. You can still be generous in that she is a stay-at-home mom, but you can also make it so you won't be fleeced if she changes her mind again. If she balks at the agreement then you know it's about the money and not you, and you can leave knowing you made the right decision." Our second commenter says, "Talk to your lawyer before making any decisions. What are the standards for child support and alimony in your state? Does pausing the divorce reset any clocks? Does your state have a set time that you have to be separated before you can divorce? You've already been married 10 years, so she's all set on Social Security. Are there any business interests she'll be entitled to if you are married longer? Any big paydays on the horizon? Can you go for 50-50 custody? Is your ex planning on getting a job? If you earn enough for $4,000 in child support and 6-figure alimony, shouldn't you be talking to professionals, your lawyer, your therapist, your accountant, not Reddit?" Our third commenter says, "If it feels off, it's off. Don't trust her. Don't go back unless it feels good. But if you are going back because you feel bad, then no. For our second story, we have update: my female 33 fiance, male 34, revealed to me that he has a child with another woman. How do I process this? Original post. Link, advice, comments. 1GTN 1GV, my F33 fiance %C3% A9 M34 revealed to me that he has a link. Firstly, I want to thank everyone who responded to my original post. There were so many comments, I tried to read through all of them. Many of you recommended that I find a way to contact the mother of his child. As she has blocked me on Facebook, I could not message her there. I did message her on Instagram, but she did not respond. I do not know if she even saw my message request. I told my fiance that it was necessary for me to talk to her, either on the phone or in person. He told me she did not want to talk to me, but as I insisted on it, he convinced her. When he was visiting her and his daughter, he called me and let me talk to her on speakerphone. She confirmed that she had blocked me, because she has blocked all of his girlfriends, because she does not want any communication. She told me they have not been together since the 3rd month of her pregnancy, but there were some false hopes involved. She said she now has found out we are engaged and I am pregnant. Before that she just blocked me because she saw me calling him once. He has told me she has always said she does not want to know anything about his personal life, and that is why he has hidden that he lives with me and everything else about us. I asked her if she would be willing to unblock me on FB so that we could talk some more. She said she does not want to intervene. From now on, he has been very open about when she calls or messages him. They have only talked about their child. He agreed to share his location with me all the time, suggested going to couples counseling, and has been extra attentive towards me these past days. He has apologized to me countless times and asked me what he can do to rebuild trust between us. I do not know if there is a way to get trust back. It seems to me that he was not having an affair, but hiding his child from me and hiding me from the mother of his child is still a huge lie. I cannot believe he would do something like this. That's the end of our second post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, are you going to be the new ex he has a secret child with? Will he start going to the gym for 6 hours while he stays with a new woman to impregnate? There were some false hopes involved? Da fuck? Our second commenter says, you don't really know if that was actually his child's mother on the phone. Too much lying over too long a period of time, and all of a sudden he wants you start believing him? Now he's offering up his location and his phone. He's just gotten better at hiding it. He has you where he wants you, pregnant and dependent on him. Don't delude yourself. Our third commenter says, I wouldn't marry him, it's too much of a deception. For our last story, we have girlfriend, 20 female, wants to break up with me, 20 male, over meal link. I'm really into sports, and as part of that, I count my calories to stay in a slight surplus. Last night, my girlfriend and I had an argument where she told me that my calorie tracking makes her feel uncomfortable. She asked me to stop tracking my food intake on weekends when we're together, as we're currently in a semi-long distance relationship. To give some extra context, I don't ask her to track her food or make any changes to her eating habits. I simply like to keep an overview of what I've eaten during the day. I also encourage her to eat whatever she wants, and I handle all the cooking and weighing myself. The argument escalated, and it ended with her saying she would break up with me if I didn't agree to stop tracking around her. On one hand, the choice seems clear: I don't want to lose her over calorie counting. But on the other hand, this has left me questioning if our relationship is in a healthy place, if something like this can become a deal breaker. Should this be a warning sign for me? I'd really appreciate any second thoughts or perspectives on this. TLDR. My girlfriend wants me to stop tracking calories around her, or she'll break up with me. Edit. To address some common questions, I don't insist on tracking if we're going out to eat or cooking dinner together. We see each other every weekend, and I don't really like the idea of giving up tracking my meals for 2 full days on a regular basis. As far as I know, my girlfriend doesn't have a history of an eating disorder, but I'll try to ask her about this carefully to understand her perspective better. She mentioned that my calorie tracking makes her feel bad, but also said that I just need to accept that it bothers her. Thanks to everyone who shared their thoughts, it's been helpful, and I'll do my best to figure this out. That's the end of our last post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, how does she know when you're doing it? Our second commenter says, as another comment stated, is there any chance she has an ED or body image issues? When I was deep in my ED, my boyfriend was also calorie counting and regularly planning food around gym and fitness, etc. This made me feel so awful and constantly guilty. Eventually we had a big discussion about it and came to an understanding. He didn't have to stop calorie counting, but he did agree to not track or mention it at all while around me, which did help a lot TBF. Anyways, point being is you should probably have a proper conversation with your GF about it. Get to the root of why it really bothers her and try meet in the middle. Our third commenter says, my immediate assumption is that she's trying to avoid these behaviors BC she's has her own struggles with disordered eating, restrictive behaviors. Even if she hasn't, it can be quite uncomfortable to be around someone who's super focused on tracking calories, and it's something that I wouldn't want a partner doing when we're together. Sharing food is such an important, beautiful, human thing, and if your attention is on weighing, measuring and tracking rather than enjoying shared meals together, I'd find it really off-putting. That's all for today. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.